should prison laws and treatment be changed? The government ensures that these people's rights are considered. All the rights on the Constitutional Bill of Rights apply to a prisoner, except the freedom of movement. How the fuck is that possible, dog? The government allocates 30.9 billion to correctional service facilities just to house and take care of prisoners. 2.7 billion is allocated to prisoners' healthcare and nutrition in South Africa. According to me, there shouldn't be food in prison. 15,000 per month is spent on a prisoner, dog. I don't even think my expenses get to 15,000 per. I don't even have to think. I don't get to 15,000 per month. So since you don't have a job, don't worry. We'll take care of you. This is vacation. Then they sentence you to vacation life. You get the right to education. Someone who's in prison gets the government to pay for their education, while someone who's in school dreaming of being something big cannot get their shit paid for. I don't think prison should even exist, to be honest with you. I won't lie. Mob justice might just be the answer, dog. Hey, what up? My name is Beleric the Eclectic _ niggas like him are limited, because too much of a good thing is bad. The energy is contagious. Welcome to the third episode of the Daily Inspo. If you saw the first one and the second one, because this is episode 3, yeah, we welcome you to the third one. Nothing much, just conversations as usual. And yeah, if you are this person who watches it through trailers, clips, only that, you can still watch the clip of this one, because of course it will have clips, it will have a trailer, yeah. If you want to watch the whole episode, you can search on YouTube the Daily Inspo, the one that has a pinned profile. If you feel like the conversations are making any type of sense to you, and you would like to interact with them on a daily, you can just subscribe, hit the notification bell, like, comment, do all that. And if you feel like there's something that I said and you feel like it's not really making any sense to you, or I said it in the wrong way, feel comfortable to just comment, whatever it is that you're feeling. Yeah, we do read comments this side. So other than that, without wasting any time, the big question of today is, should prison laws and treatment be changed? Like, should the laws and treatment that happen around prisons, correctional service in facilities, should they be changed? Should they be considered? Like, are they even supposed to be the way they are? You know what I'm saying? Because a lot is happening, dog. A lot is happening. You get treatment in prison being treatment that would be given to a typical human being. And to be honest, if you're in a prison, dog, okay, there's this case where you are innocent until proven guilty, of course. After going all your trials, court cases, whatever, and then you are found guilty and you are a prisoner. Because when you're going trials, I don't think you should be considered a prisoner, of course, because you are in holding cells, But once you are found guilty and you are a prisoner, dog, I don't think we should consider you a typical human being. To be honest, that's my opinion again. I don't think that's the way it should be, because you get people violating other people's rights while theirs are being prioritized in a way, because the government ensures that these people's rights are considered. These people's rights are practiced, are treated in the right way. Like, how? But yeah, that's a question I'm yet to elaborate on, because the things that happen in prison, dog, besides the people's behavior, because you get such instances where a new prisoner would be intimidated by the old ones. Yeah, that's your choice, dog. You decided to do crime and you went there, you came across your peers, those who do whatever it is that you do, but do it better than you. So all I'm saying is that the treatments and laws that are in prisons, correctional service facilities, I don't think all that should be whatever it is that it's happening. I don't think it's the right thing, dog, you know. So for example, what I'd say is in South Africa, ne, a prisoner, like the rights, the Bill of Rights, all the rights on the Constitutional Bill of Rights apply to a prisoner, except the freedom of movement. The right to freedom of movement is the only right that does not apply to a prisoner in South Africa. I don't know about other countries because I live in South Africa, you know. So when you do crime, the only thing that's gonna be stripped from you is freedom of movement, dog. Okay, you've killed someone. Okay, you've raped someone. Guess what? You're no longer going to the streets. That's the punishment you get for being an offender. Because as much as the crimes are not the same, but if you think about it, dog, there's people who do heist, you know. In some heist, dog, doesn't always go as planned, and some people lose their lives there. You know, the people who are being, the people who something is being stolen from, they sometimes lose their lives because of these people's panic, you know. These offenders, sometimes they panic and then they do things out of pocket, you know, and then someone loses their life. And then the only thing that the government does to these people is just strip away freedom of movement. How the fuck is that possible, dog? Sorry for the vulgar, but how is it possible that if you decide to now kill someone, you go to prison, you can no longer go to the streets? Is that all that can happen to you? Like, is that all the punishment you can get? Because at this point, I won't lie, mob justice might just be the answer, dog. Mob justice might just be the answer to a lot of crimes, because if you think about it, correctional services, prisons, all that, they protect prisoners from a lot of things, while the people who should be protected are the citizens who are being wronged, you know, because the community is the one that's suffering from these people, these criminals, you know, but the community yet faces the consequences of everything that's happening, because it has to do again with the economy, by the way, you know. It's not just all that rights and treatment and whatever. It goes on to the economy, the state of the economy. Part of the reason our country is this poor is because of the prisons. Crime is part of the reason why our country is this poor, because dog, these people steal money, they go to prison, then free money spent on them. Guess what? You did crime. Welcome to vacation. 30 years. You won't spend anything. You get to bath, hot water. You get to sleep, free blankets, free beds, free accommodation. You get to get clothes, you know. Those orange overalls, you get to get them for free. You get food, because a prisoner is considered to be like, they have the right to healthcare and nutrition. How is that possible? In South Africa, the government allocates 30.9 billion to correctional service facilities just to house and take care of prisoners. Just to house and take care of prisoners, you know. Not to house prisoners only, to take care of them, you know. The money, okay, the money, not all the money goes to the prisoners, because some of the money pays prison wardens, security, the people who cook in the kitchen, whoever works at the, because there's IT specialists or whatever, you know, people who deal with the technology there. The money pays the workers at prisons, correctional services, but some of the money, most of the money goes to the prisoners. By like, for example, 2.7 billion is allocated to prisoners' healthcare and nutrition in South Africa. Healthcare and nutrition. How do you get the right to that, dog, when you did crime? You know what I'm saying? according to me, there shouldn't be food in prison. You can do whatever it is, get your fame. By the way, again, prisoners have the right to communication. So if, for instance, there was no food in prisons, this person would just call their mom and be like, yo, ish, I don't have food this side, can you bring me something? You know, they have the right to communication where they can send and receive messages from their family members, friends, and whatsoever. How, dog? How? You are an offender. We're not talking about people who are still in trial, by the way. Like I said, once you're found guilty, I think every right should be stripped from you. This might be the opinion I share by myself, but maybe someone's feeling the same way. But I won't lie, the whole concept is not in the right manner, because how does so much money and so much attention go to you after you've done something wrong? 15,000 per month is spent on a prisoner, dog. I don't even think my expenses get to 15,000 per. I don't even have to think. I don't get to 15,000 per month. So this person, okay, let's say you do a crime and you had a job. The first thing they do from you, which is maybe part of the punishment, you lose your job because of the criminal record and whatsoever. You lose the freedom of movement, as I've said. So since you don't have a job, don't worry. We'll take care of you. This is vacation. Then they sentence you to vacation life. Even though I don't think prison should even exist, to be honest with you. Because, oh, dog, a lot of money is being spent. A lot of attention is being paid to these people, which is something very wrong, dog. It's very wrong. I won't lie, it's very wrong. Because you get the right to education. These people go to prison and then the government decides to, oh shit, nigga. There are people right now as I'm speaking to you, there's someone who's in their grade 12 class, in their school somewhere. In their mind, they dream to be a lawyer, a pilot, whatever it is that they wish to become. They want to be something, they aspire to be something big. This person finishes school and finds out that universities are full, or they do not get funding from NSFAS or whichever companies which provide bursaries. They don't get funding from that, so they do not get the chance to go and study. Someone who's in prison gets the government to pay for their education, while someone who's in school dreaming of being something big cannot get their shit paid for. Is that right? In any way possible? That can never be okay, dog. I won't lie. That can never be okay, because how do you perform a crime just for you to be, because some of them go to prison and then come back, I'm a qualified engineer. I studied in prison. There's people who wish to study. We are sitting with them in the hood. People who had distinctions, people who had dreams. They did not, like, all they wished to do was just study, and they couldn't get that chance, and the government couldn't do something for them. While the government does buy food, buy clothes, provide accommodation, provide chances to education for these people. These people even participate in sports, because it is stated that they have the right to exercise. Dog, in a prison, okay, my prison, if I was designated to design, if I was put in a position where they said, can you design a prison? I think a typical prison for someone who's done, okay, there would be different prisons for different crimes, of course, but someone who's done murder, rape, all the bad stuff, murder and rape, the worst parts, you sit in a cell alone. You don't get toilet, you don't get shit until you then decide to go on your own. Because I think it's very impossible that we return to the old laws, the old laws where they would usually sentence you to death sentence and all that. I don't think we're going back to that, because we have the country that decides according to the Bill of Rights. If you give an opinion that why don't we go back to those laws where people are sentenced to death, hanged, and whatever, it's stated that everyone has a right. These people have rights to legal representation. They can choose, no, I want this lawyer to represent me. That's okay. That's okay. We can look at such rights because you have to be represented in court. Why do you even have to be represented in court? Because in some cases, I won't lie, it's just time wasting. Because you get cases where this person is told, pull up to the court 15 March, they get to court, the lawyer says whatever it is that they say, and then they're told postpone to 15 August. That's money, dog. The judge gets paid, lawyer gets paid, everyone who goes to court on that day, the drivers, whatever, they get paid. So that's a lot of the country's money that's going just for free. There's cases where we should look at them. We know this person did this crime, but we're going to court. Why? The money is spent from just even the court cases, before you even get to the prison. Because the prison is the severe one, dog. You can't get 30 billion. 30 billion, dog. I don't even think these what's this child support grant, I don't think it gets to 30 billion, but I'll still research about that. But if that doesn't get to 30 billion, how do we allow prisoners to get spent on 30 billion, dog? These people are badismos. You just perform a crime and then you become a bad, you go to prison. No, don't worry, the government will take care of you. Everything is for free, you know what I'm saying? All you have to do is just do a crime, you know what I'm saying? These are some of the things that make the young boys in the hood, like, they don't feel, if you live in the hood, dog, everyone in the hood, they see that there's an old uncle who was a criminal. He did all the crimes, all the bad crimes. He was arrested, went to prison, and coincidentally came back. When this person comes back, of course he's going to share some information about whatever it is that was happening in prison, because we get to see these interviews where ex-offenders are being interviewed about their life in prison. The only thing that's bad in there is bullying, dog. The only thing that they experience which is inconveniencing for them is bullying. Other than that, nigga, everything is nice. I won't lie to you. Everything is nice. This person gets to eat. I don't know if there's breakfast. I don't know. There might be 3 meals, by the way, because a human is considered to must eat 3 meals a day. I think maybe that's the case. You might find out that this person wakes up from free blankets, free clothes, gets to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. While you are a criminal, dog, why? There's crimes where we should look at them and be like, okay, this one might be a light crime or should be considered not that, because there's people who do crime solely because of the reason that they are poor. Like, they do crime, robbing people and all that just to support their families. It's not right, but those are the people who we should look at and be like, he was trying to make a living. True crime is not the right way. But tell me, how do you off someone and then you get to have constitutional, like you have rights? You just off someone and then you took away all the person's rights. Not even a single one was left out. You took out every right that this person could possibly have. And yours are all there, except freedom of movement, of course. Of course, not going to the streets is something bad. There's someone who's sitting at home right now and they are asked, why don't you like going outside? Nah, because I like sitting at home. You get to do it while something is being spent on you. People do it for free, dog. So others have to do crime for them to be told, no, you can no longer move the way you used to move. You can no longer do the things, like you can no longer go to the park. There's gym, dog, in the prison. These people are given, they're bought like soccer balls, these gym equipment, clothing, like they're built like sports fields are built in prisons. Why do you have to keep this person busy? Why don't you just sit like this and think about all your crimes and be like, yeah, this is what I did something bad, until you're gone. I won't lie, though. Me, if I was the president, a lot of them would be gone by now, because that's a lot of money. I won't lie. And then you get cases where they tell you prisons are overcrowded. Why does that even matter? According to me, one cell should have 15 inmates. These people are considered to have a right to adequate cell space. Adequate cell space. Dog, that's crazy. I won't lie. According to me, a typical cell should have 15 inmates, one toilet. Should they even have food? Maybe give them one plate per 15 inmates. If the food should be given, because I wouldn't give the food away, dog. There's people who live in the streets right now. We see them every day. People who ask for 2 rands and they struggle to make a living, dog. They're having it really hard. And then you get a prisoner who's having everything for free. This cannot in any way be right. I won't lie to you, dog. This is wrong. This is wrong. But anyway, that's politics, and I'm not a politician. I wouldn't even aspire to be one. But if I was a president, I'm just saying, a lot would be, oh, dog, this is a lot of money that's being spent. But other than that, yeah, this is the third episode of the Daily Inspo. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, comment, and share. Peace out.